So nearly 2 months back, Nintendo finally dropped the much awaited game Donkey Kong Bonanza on their new platform, the Nintendo Switch 2, and I've been playing it endlessly since the past 1 month. We have already seen the reviews from IGN, I mean they are IGN, but anyway, from all the reviews and all, they have given it good stars, and it has been called a masterpiece in some places. So yeah, I've been playing this game a while now, and in this video, we will talk about why I think Donkey Kong Bonanza is a nearly masterpiece. It nearly reached the heights of Mario Odyssey, but it's a near masterpiece in my opinion. So in this video, we'll get into the game, and this is my review for Donkey Kong Bonanza. I've been playing that game for almost 40 hours now, and I've had a lot of fun with it. It's no denying that. And the story and all was also good, which we'll get into later in the video. So before we start, do remember to subscribe to the channel. And if you find this video useful and fun, then do remember to hit that like button as well. And without further ado, let's get into my thoughts about Donkey Kong Bonanza on the Nintendo Switch 2. Let's go. So the first thing I really wanted to talk about, guys, is the 3D Donkey Kong in itself was such a big deal because we got the last 3D Donkey Kong game back in the N64 days. So it has been such a while now. And we had our 2D Donkey Kong games like Tropical Freeze and all, which is my personal favorite Donkey Kong game before this came out. So yeah, in itself, a 3D Donkey Kong is like an experience and something which I never thought I'll see again. So yeah, the first time booting this game up and just playing as DK in itself was surreal. And it was like I have to pinch myself to believe this, that I'm not dreaming kind of moment. But I mean, after that, when you get inside the game, I mean, I could not get past the first area of the game because it was so fun just smashing stuff. And I mean, just smash, and I knew that there would be more things coming up in the game in the future with more abilities and all that stuff, but I was so into the whole smashing thing. And I mean, I'm pretty sure I did that thing for the first 2 hours playing the game and just collecting gold all the time. And the thing about smashing in general, which is the first thing we'll talk about, what makes it so good, what makes it so fun in my opinion, is when you start the game, every layer has some strength level. And the first layer you start has the lowest amount of strength level. So in the first layer you smash, and it just falls about like mud, like clay. It's so fun when you do that in the first level, and that's why it gets so addicting. And then after that, every smash, every hit is kind of rewarding in some form. Like you'll end up getting some gold, or you'll end up getting a treasure map. All in all, the smashing and all is really rewarding. And throughout the game, I mean, you'll find yourself in places in the game when you won't even smash. But I mean, it is such a rewarding thing, and you just know that if you smash, then you will be rewarded. And there will be times that you will actually use it in a tactical sense, which we'll get later in the game. But for now, when it comes to the smashing and the real hook of this game, they nailed it in my opinion. I mean, I can still go back to this game any time of the day, any time of the week, and I'll have fun with this. Just smash. Next thing I want to get into is basically the start of the game. That I've heard many people talk about the game starting is not, it's all over the place and it takes time getting used to it. And I get so, because at the start of the game they just want you to go berserk, they want you to have fun, and then after a while they want you to get into the story. So yeah, I mean, when I played it for the first time, it did not felt really misguiding or felt kind of confusing to me, because it was kind of fun all the time. I went everywhere, I wanted to visit every place in the game, and eventually I ended up in the right place. So I mean, the entire fun of it, and that you just don't have to go to the other place, just one point on the map, it's in my opinion a great thing in this game. The next thing I want to get into is, and appreciate the Mario Odyssey team, is the animation in this game. I mean, the entire expression of Donkey Kong and Pauline, and from all the characters, the monkey, Void King, and his minions, and then K. Rool at the end of the game, which was such a big spoiler and such a big surprise to me, and was such a great and epic ending we'll get into later in the video. But I mean, the animation and everything was spot on. I mean, before that, the only game I thought looked amazing on the Switch was Luigi's Mansion 3, but in my opinion, this tops it, and it is also a good game at the same time. The next thing I want to get into this game was the skill tree, which was a big surprise to me because Nintendo were not very good when it comes to the marketing of this game, because the only thing they marketed was smash, 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 and this game was so much more than that, and the more than that part comes the skill tree. And I mean, it was so impressive that you can increase your heart, your entire health. You can also use the skill point to upgrade your Bananza skills, which we'll get into later in the video. But you can also upgrade your Bananza skills and Bananza skills in this game. The techniques, whatever, the Bananzas are amazing in this game. I mean, I was hooked to them, and the game just lets you do whatever you want with those at the later part of the game. It doesn't hold your hand. It does at the start of the game. It is a Nintendo game. It is kind of made for kids, but it literally just leaves you at the end of the game, and it's like do whatever you want. It's your playground, and however you want to beat this boss, however you want to complete this course, it's your call. It was so amazing. Now I want to get into other Bananza skills. I mean, the one is Kong. The next one is Zebra Bananza. The third one is Ostrich Bananza. And the fourth one is Serpent Bananza. Yeah, I got it. And I mean, all four of them are so good. And also the Elephant Bananza. I just forgot the fifth one, the Elephant Bananza. And all of these Bananzas are so good. And I mean, at the start when I've got the Kong one, the smashing in this game became 10 times better because the smashes are stronger. He's stronger version of DK, and you can charge your punches by long pressing the Y button, and then you can literally smash through the entire place. It was so amazing, guys, and I mean, Kong was my favorite in the game. And the next one was Zebra. And Zebra, I kind of felt like he was, he had a specific purpose in the game. Then whenever there were bridges which you can't cross by, being yourself, basically, you had to become Zebra because for some reason they can walk through them. And I mean, the next thing, the Zebra ability they had, which you long press the ZR button to use that, was basically a charge run. But in my opinion, it did not felt really good in the game because it was not that responsive. And most of the time, whenever I was charging, I just ended up, falling from the map or something like that. And it was kind of frustrating. So I always used it whenever I had to, cross that bridges and whenever it was necessary to become Zebra. The next ability was Ostrich Bananza. And Ostrich Bananza, basically you can fly, which I loved in this game because there are many points in this game where you have difficult courses where you have to walk through them. But if you have those gold coins collected, because the way you get Bananza in this game is by just smashing. So most of the time you just have that. But some of the times in this game there was places where there was nothing to smash. Basically there was steel, and you can't smash through steel in this game. So it was kind of tactical how to collect those coins to use that Bananza. So I kind of had fun doing that in the later part of the game, which was it was kind of interesting and kind of testing yourself at the same time. And then when it came to Ostrich Bananza, that was fun. I mean, all you have to do is just jump and then press ZL, I guess. I kind of forgot. But you press ZL and then it will just fly, but it won't go up. The only way it will go down. So you can't, just climb up someplace. You can, go down, glide somewhere, which was also very useful and fun in the game. And I'm pretty sure I ended up doing that when the game wanted me to do something else. But that was the beauty of this game, because they were not holding my hand and they let me do whatever I want towards the later part of the game, which I think is a very common point in most Nintendo games. Next thing I want to talk about is the story. So the story basically starts that you are DK and you are working at your mine and all that stuff, and then you find a rock, and that rock basically speaks. and then that rock basically asks you to help her, and at the same time your entire mind gets uprooted and you're in some other layer. I mean, the story doesn't make sense, but it was kind of fun, and they tried to do something with it towards the end. And then there's that void company led by the monkey, and he basically wants the banandium root, which is at the bottom, at the core of the earth. And I mean, banandium root is basically something that, which will fulfill all your wishes in life. And it's kind of, I mean, okay. And then the entire game is you and that void company, racing against time to get to the source, get to the core of the earth, to the banandium root. And throughout your journey you fight some bosses, and the boss fights at the start were not really good. They were like 10 seconds boss fights at max, and you fight multiple enemies multiple times, so that adds to some layer in the story, because they kind of learn from their mistakes, not in the way of the nemesis system or anything like that, but they try to amp up the boss fights all throughout the game. And then you end up in places like for zebra you ended in the snow area. Then there was another biome, the beach area, the sunshine area, basically I'll call it Mario Sunshine area. And then there was the forest area. Then there was, I mean, so many areas in this game, so many biomes. It was beautiful. And in all of these areas, you'll find the elder. And it's like a DJ. And he's kind of cool, kind of hip. And then he'll basically ask you to, get him his record back, which is divided into 3 pieces in some places. In some places, I get it was 4. It depends on the layer. And then you have to go around, do some collision courses and all that stuff. And that's when the game becomes more than smashing, in my opinion, because in these courses and all, you will end up, throwing things at something while being in a cart. And then you will be doing some platforming. And then you will be, using your brain and thinking about some way to get across a place, and using your Bananzas at the same time, which you have already acquired. And so fun. And then you'll end up getting all the records, and you'll join them together, and then they'll have a big ass party, and they'll ask Pauline to sing, which is kind of interesting in the start of the game, because Pauline doesn't want to sing. And then she ends up singing, and it really depends. Whenever she shouts DK and says that specific Bananza name, then only you convert while thumping on your chest. So that makes Pauline a very important character in the game. And then she sings, and we end up getting that Bananza, and then you get a small collision course where they'll teach you how to use that Bananza, and then it's all yours. And that was so fun. And that's how we go through the entire game, Bananza after Bananza. And one of my favorite part of the game was the kart racing between Diddy Kong and all his friends in the Donkey Kong world, I suppose. It was a big collision course, and it was a big trophy there, and you can smash through it all day long. It was an entire gold trophy, and was so fun and so satisfying doing the game. I mean, so many times in this game I just stopped and did all these stupid things. It was so sandboxy, in my opinion. And the entire kart racing part was so fun, because it came at the center part of the game, when it was getting some fatigue, and it just relaxes you. And then this game picks up. I mean, the last 2 hours of this game were the most stressful I've been in a video game in 2025, in my opinion, because this game just threw at you boss fight after boss fight after boss fight, and all of them were so freaking difficult, so complicating at the same time. I mean, they were not really difficult, but it took me some while to get used to them, because they were so fast, and every time you lose, you end up at the start, and you have to go all the way back, and then you have to skip all the cutscenes. And it was just an irritating experience. The game was so good, I kept going. And towards the end, you fight the Void King, you fight that lady spy girl in the Void Company, and then you fight the other gorilla or monkey. And at the end, you feel like the game is finished, you have done your job, and then out of nowhere, throw in K. Rool. I mean, K. Rool is the villain, and I was expecting him to be a part of this game, but by the midpoint, I just forgot. And it just, hit me like a bus that they have K. Rool in this game. And the K. Rool boss fights are freaking amazing. And I mean, the entire game, when you fight him for the first time, The game ends and it even shows the credit and it says the end with a question mark, and then it again picks up when K. Rool, rises back up, and then there's another boss fight in the entire New Donk City, and then you defeat K. Rool. And I mean, it was such a 10 on 10 experience. That ending was cinema, guys. And getting into that boss fight, the K. Rool boss fights are so fun and amazing. I mean, that was the boss fight that made me use all my bonanzas, because as I said earlier, I was not really into Elephant Bonanza, but not really into Serpent as well, because basically in Serpent you jump and then you can also pause time basically, so that it makes it easier for you to go through some collision courses. And with Elephant you can suck up everything and then you can make it a ball basically and throw it at other things. So yeah, I mean, I did not find a big use for it at the start of the game when I was first found those things, so that's why I didn't even upgrade them. In my skill tree, I love the Kong one and the Ostrich one, but during the later part of the game, in this boss fight, I mean, I had to use it, and that made me appreciate the game more, because the game actually cared about everything they put inside it, the developers, and they made you use it. And that Elephant Bonanza, guys, came in clutch towards the end. The next thing I want to talk about are some of the mini games that are in this game. You can go throughout them, and whenever you press basically the L button, Pauline sinks, and you can unlock basically that area, and that area you can go and find some more antiques, find some coins, and basically the antiques are used for the shop stores. Basically you can buy clothes for DK and Pauline, which was kind of fun. And then you can also make and use those gold coins to make getaways where you can sleep and regenerate your health and even get some extra. And also you can it starts with Pauline trying to have a chat with DK. You can either talk to her or just ignore and go to sleep. You can also use those gold to construct basically bridges or some barrels which can shoot you at the top, and all of these things. So basically smashing gets rewarded a lot in this game in my opinion. Then there are other things in the game which will you find in the biome hub, basically the main part of the city, after you basically fix it. And then you can find a stuff store as well, which will sell you basically extra hearts and the balloons. In case you fall over, you won't die. The balloon would just become a hot air balloon, and it would just put you back on the map basically, which was kind of fun. And are some of the things that I did not really get into it, but this one balloon thing was kind of nice, so I always look forward to buying it from the stuff stores. Now the things I want to get into it which are not that good about the game, basically the performance. I mean, during the final boss fight against K. Rool, a lot was happening and the game was constantly dropping frames, and it was kind of becoming really janky. And I'll even blame it. One time I lost because of it in the boss fight, but I made it up in the next round and finally won, so that was good, because this review would have gone a lot different if I did not win that thing. But anyway, and also the frames and all drop when it comes to basically when you're smashing and you're literally going crazy, being Kong Bonanza. It also crashed there. And I mean, the HDR and all don't really work, so I've actually switched it off on my Switch 2, because I don't really think it's proper HDR with that level of brightness anyway. And then also some of the problems with the game in itself were like, I felt like at some times the game kind of stretched when it came to specific biomes. And then after some time I also felt like we were not getting really a variety of biomes during the middle layers, but they picked it up towards the end, which was fun. And then also felt like whenever you lost a boss fight, you have to go all the way back and start all the way again. I mean, there are easy boss fights, I don't mind doing them again and again, but it was kind of infuriating. And I mean, they could have just gave us a checkpoint instead in places. Talk about also are the bananas in the game. You collect so many bananas in this game. I'm currently at 500 bananas in this game. So many bananas I've collected, and I literally look for bananas. And there's also a very good part when it comes to smashing. You smash, and then you'll find some kind of a vault inside a mountain or something like that, and then you can smash it as well, which is kind of fun. But then also it reminded me of one of the biggest problems with this game, which is the camera. I mean, when you're smashing and going crazy, it will go all over the place. and during the boss fight, during the K. Rool fight, during I guess the monkey fight as well, the camera was all over the place, and I was shouting and going crazy and raging at the same time. It was infuriating, and the camera, I mean, I'll borderline call it awful in some situations, and I mean, Nintendo should do better with this. So these are some of the reasons, because it doesn't feel like a Switch 2 game in my opinion. I mean, it should run better. I mean, the whole point of the Switch 2 is HDR, 60 frames, and a good resolution. I mean, they have done a good part when it comes to resolution, but I mean, the two of the other things have not been met in this title. I mean, Nintendo always carry themselves with good video games, and that's the case here. But at the price tag for which they are selling this console and the price tag for which this game goes for, I mean, the performance of this game should be way better in my opinion. Now guys, this was my Donkey Kong Bananza review for the Nintendo Switch 2. I mean, the points that I've stated in this video, you might now have an idea why it's a near masterpiece, not a masterpiece on its own. And I mean, it's quite a shame, because the problem created for this has been made by Nintendo themselves in my opinion. And yeah, I mean, the marketing and all of this game was not good, and the performance of this game is kinda abysmal, and the story and all is also not at the level of Mario Odyssey, and not really the story, the gameplay. I mean, we should not really get into the story when it comes to Nintendo games anyway. So yeah guys, these are my thoughts about Donkey Kong Bonanza, and maybe one day I'll make an hour-long essay about this game, because at the end of the game, I love this game, and I will love this game for a while. And this was the game that made me not regret getting a Switch 2, basically. So, extra marks for that. So yeah guys, this is me signing off, and I'll see you the next time I upload. Thanks for watching.